What's going on? This is basically gonna be some more material that I'm gonna do. Um, kind of started a little late to the party to talk about stuff that I've been watching because I've been wanting to do those type of videos, but I've been kind of lazy. But I did write a list of what I saw so far in the last month towards now. Towards now, how do I sound? So the first film or TV show that I wanted to talk about is Annabelle, the Creation, I think it's called. It's the new one that came out recently, I think in the last month, maybe, somewhere in September. And I saw it with a friend. It's pretty much a prequel to the first film, if you've seen that one, and you're familiar with those films. Annabelle. A pretty full cast of young actresses, or I don't know if that bothers anybody, actresses, or actors, whatever. And I don't want to necessarily say who all the cast is because that's gonna take too long to talk about all the cast and everything. So I will leave the link to the films or the TV shows I'm talking about, and maybe some trailers or something like that if you want to check them out. But I did enjoy myself. I thought it was a decent prequel to it. It still felt like the series. So if you guys get to check it out, I don't know if it's gonna get out of theaters soon, but I didn't think it was very scary, but it was decent enough to go watch. So if it's on Blu-ray or anything like that, maybe you should rent it. Okay, another film that this is a TV show that I was watching. I just bumped into it and I really like it. I'm trying to remember where I found it. I think it was on, I want to say Netflix or Hulu or something else that there's other ways to get stuff. Anyway, I watched Channel Zero Season 1. I'm towards the end. I think I have one more episode to go, and of the first season, and it's pretty much like an anthology series, but each season is just one story arc, or I think that's the proper term to. So definitely check that out if you're into like sort of film versions of but it's kind of a mini series basically of a story, and it's horror related. So just remember that. Dark Tower I saw recently with Edis Alba and what's his name? This guy's drawing me a blank. He's a famous actor. Let me see if I can get the information before I look like I'll pause it for it. I know this is funny. He's in a lot of good commercials too. With Matthew McConaughey. I don't know how I forgot his name, but yeah, and it also had Dennis Hayes. I know I'm reading this, but he's a great actor. A lot of good actors. Very predictable script. It looks like they're gonna make a sequel. I think this might have something to do with Stephen King. I'm not too sure about that, but I assumed that when I watched the trailer, and I was like, does this have something to do with the Stephen King novel? But I would say it was a decent film for what it was. If you don't, go into it thinking too much about it. I did like the premise of the film, how they explain the plot of the film, how about I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't watched it yet, but how they explained about everything in the film was done pretty well. But of course it was very predictable and quite full of CGI, but that didn't bother me too much. It was decent CGI, and but I thought it was very typical. It wasn't really very imaginative. Though it did look good, it didn't really. It was just so predictable. That was a real problem with it. But I wouldn't mind seeing a second movie to it just to see if they do something better. I know it's getting a lot of flack. That's definitely something uh, that I didn't expect. I thought people were most likely gonna like it, but yeah. Anyway, the next thing I wanted to talk about was The Simpsons. I've been watching a lot of Simpsons lately. Like, I've been watching a couple of the Halloween special stuff. So that's what I do. Is I tend to watch a lot of stuff like that. Like around this time, I'll watch like a lot of horror related or Halloween episodes of shows and stuff like that. So I watched The Big Bang Theory. I'm all caught up actually to The Big Bang. I've seen that's one of my favorite shows, by the way. And I've seen all the Halloween episodes like billions of times already. So I don't watch them that often around this time because I've seen it so many times. But I do watch other shows like I watched the Addams Family TV show. I watched I don't watch the Monsters because last year I watched the Monsters because they only have 2 seasons, and I finished the Monsters last year, I believe. But this year I'm doing the Addams Family, the TV show, the original TV show, which is from the 60s, I believe. I think it was the 60s or early 70s. No, it had to be. Sorry, it had to be in the 50s. I think it was a 50s thing. I don't think it was later than that. Probably I'm wrong with that, but I gotta double check. So I enjoyed that, and I enjoyed those shows because they're just pretty. The Addams Family show was more like comedic. It was not really that scary, but I could see how in the 50s people thought it was atmosphere, like it was funny and it was very scary at the same time. But it wasn't like, how you would picture a film now being scary, and or some filmmakers that are really good suspense directors and stuff like that, or suspense writers. But besides that, it's a pretty enjoyable show. You can catch it on anything. I think YouTube may have some episodes. I'm not sure if they're public domain, but you can find them, I believe, somewhere. So check that out if you want. I've also I tried to watch the original Outer Limits because I used to enjoy those shows. For you guys that don't know, I'm old enough to be from the era that people used to have shows on public access, which is like kind of like before YouTube. There was this community of filmmakers or content creators, and I actually was part of that beforehand. So probably that's why I kind of gravitated to YouTube. But before then, there was like people that would go on these public access channels that have a time slot, and they can put whatever they want. And at that time, film companies didn't really flag you for showing their films. You could do reviews, whatever you wanted to do, you did. And I used to see a bunch of like YouTube, kind of like early YouTubers. Then a lot of them don't even do stuff now. That's surprisingly, and a few of them have. That I remember they had public access shows, and now they have, YouTube channels. But there is surprisingly not as many people as you would think. So that's sad to hear that some of these people lost the love to make content, or maybe I just haven't found them yet. But I was surprised at some of the people that I did find that were still making stuff today. So that's funny. But besides that, that was the time where like I would see a lot of films. It was like kind of like the Mystery House Theater. I think that's what it's called, that show, where it was about that gentleman. I forget the gentleman, but I do watch that show. It was this gentleman. He makes like fun of movies. Like you'll see a movie playing, like a bad movie, a B movie, and they'll talk through it. I used to watch that when I was a young too. I used to love that show. I'm actually going through it now, the series from the beginning towards the present, and really enjoy that show. You should watch it if you can find it. But I started watching the new series of Outer Limits because I couldn't find the originals. I don't know where you can see them, but I just couldn't find them. I needed to buy them. because if they're out on DVD or Blu-ray or something like that. But I tend not to buy, as you guys notice, I don't buy really DVDs and Blu-rays anymore. That's because I've gotten into the sports collecting, as you guys may know already. You're watching my channel for a long time, but I still want to talk about film and TV shows that I've been watching. Also, I've been a big fan of the new Star Trek. I started watching that. I'm not all caught up, but I have been watching it, and I also started watching the Enterprise because I never watched it before, so I'm really enjoying that. So far from all the Star Trek TV shows, and even the reboot movies, I'm actually enjoying them. They're not. It's like they didn't actually do too bad of a job, you know. And so, if you're a Trekkie, you're having very much fun right now. You know, they're not perfect, but they have their good parts. I've also been watching a show called 44 Dimensions, and that's a show that I was surprised to see as well. I've been enjoying it. I forget what I've seen it. I'm either seen it on Netflix or Hulu. I have friends that have some of these products, and I'm not paying them. I'm not personally paying for them, but they let me use it like every now and then. So this is some way of saving some money. You know, I probably hook them up with other things. You know, that's how friendship works. Glad that some of my friends could do that for me. So appreciate your friends, because some of them are actually really cool. If you have some that really care about you and really care about helping you consume entertainment. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know it was so not in depth, but I might get better at this over time, because I need to get back into the swing of things. Because I did actually used to do these type of videos, but well, I'm trying to get back into them. So for those people that don't know my film likes, I'm a big horror fan. I'm a big sci-fi fan. That's like my ultimate genres. I'm also a big action junkie. So a lot of action films. I watch a lot of action and adventure films and fantasy films. But like I said, I'm more into the horror and the sci-fi films. That's just my genre of preferred. But I do also watch a lot of anime, and I just want to get my opinion out there, I guess. But hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you guys later. You know what to do if you haven't done it. So I don't want to keep repeating that, because it just sounds redundant, you know. So I'll see you guys later. And I'm sorry that I say you know a lot, because I noticed that. And I say other things a lot too. So forgive me. I'm trying. All right. Peace.